Okay, so I had no idea episode 3 and 4 were already streaming for Twin Peaks: The Return, so this one's a little bit late. So yeah, let's get right into it. Episode 3 starts off with Dale Cooper still going through new parts of the Black Lodge. He runs into a woman with no eyes, who then flips a giant electric switch and then becomes Ronette Polanski. And she finally shows Cooper how to leave the Black Lodge. Now this episode's kind of interesting, this and the next one, because it kind of plays on the idea that was introduced in Fire Walk With Me, more so in the missing pieces, that the spirits somehow travel and exist through electricity. So when Cooper leaves the Black Lodge, it's through like this big electrical socket, which in turn affects Bob while he's driving in the car. Like the electricity in his car fucks him up and causes him to almost crash. But long story short, Dale Cooper is now out of the Black Lodge. Now, the one problem with that is Bob was supposed to return to the Black Lodge. And, you know, as we all know, Bob is in Dale's body. Somehow, Bob manufactured another Dale who goes by the name Dougie Jones, who's like this fat salesman who sleeps with prostitutes and owes a lot of people money. And he has like one of those rings that like Laura Palmer and the one-armed man wears, Mike. Somehow Bob made a person, not sure how that happened, and this person took Bob's place in the Black Lodge. So Dale left, a whole different person went in, and the man with one arm is pissed off. He's aware that he's been tricked, and now, skipping ahead to episode 4, it turns out that either Dale or Bob have to die. So yeah, it's kind of cool to see Dale back in the real world, but like, he's like an alien? Because I guess he's been gone for so long in another dimension, it's taking him forever to like figure out how to be a human again. So he's just walking around, repeating things. He's going to a casino. And then, again, with the electricity thing, he goes to all the slot machines and he sees an image of the Black Lodge in front of all these slot machines. And then when he pulls the lever, he wins. So somehow he's affecting the slot machines with electricity. So he ends up going back to whoever Dougie's house. His wife is, what's her name? Naomi Watts. And she's pissed off, and then she realizes he won like a shit ton of money. So yeah, I think it's kind of interesting that at the end of episode 4, Dale drinks a cup of coffee, and it's kind of a trigger for him. Because, you know, everyone knows, like, Dale Cooper loved coffee, and it seems like that's kind of, like, awakening parts of his brain. So I thought that was really funny. So that was the Dale storyline. Bob is in jail, and everyone thinks it's Cooper, because, you know, he's been off the radar for so long. I want to mention that Bob and Dougie both threw up Garambosia, the pain and the corn that represents pain and suffering. So Bob is in jail. It seems like his brain has been fried from that whole experience, so he's not able to quite pull off the Dale charade. His voice is all wrong, but he gets visited by Gordon Cole and Albert. And it looks like Gordon Cole has updated his hearing aid. He doesn't have to shout quite as much. He can increase the volume and be able to hear and like whisper. So it was cool. And it's great to see David Lynch act. I love David Lynch's Gordon Cole character. I love how that David Lynch is the manufacturer of this whole like world, but then he plays a character that has no idea what's going on. I thought that was pretty funny. Also returning is David Duchovny as Denise. She's now climbed in rank at the FBI. So it was a pleasant surprise to see her. So they're really turned off by the whole Cooper thing. Bob Cooper mentions Philip Jeffries, who they also know is another agent who's disappeared, which I'm surprised if we're going to see Philip Jeffries. Obviously, David Bowie's dead, so I don't know how they can do it. But then again, they could recast it. Speaking of recasting, kind of, the original Sheriff Truman is out. And there's a new Frank Truman, played by, the actor's name is skipping me right now. I don't feel like Googling it, but he was the original choice for Harry Truman. He's now the sheriff of Twin Peaks. Speaking of which, Bobby ended up working for the police in Twin Peaks, which I guess no one found out about that murder he did in the woods and Fire Walk With Me, so that's good. It's funny to see him on the right side of the law. I mean, we'll see, because they're talking about figuring out how drugs are getting into the town, so maybe Bobby's involved with that. He has a cute scene where he sees Laura Palmer and just immediately breaks down crying. Lucy, Andy, and Hawk are still trying to figure out what the log lady said. Like, she said that there's something in the case missing that's involved with Agent Cooper and Hawk's heritage, and he has no idea what it is. But that leads to a really funny scene. Speaking of funny scenes, Michael Cera finally shows up, and he's playing who we all guessed he was playing, Lucy and Andy's child. Now, I mentioned in the previous episode that he was born the same day as Marlon Brando, so they called him Wally Brando Brennan, and he's fully committed to the Marlon Brando thing. He's dressed as Marlon Brando. He talks like Marlon Brando. It's one of the weirdest scenes ever. I highly doubt he'll ever come back. Oh, but it was really, really, really funny. Yeah, so that was episode 3 and 4. I'm sure I missed a lot of things, but it's a good time. Some of the visual effects in the Black Lodge are real cringy green screens, but then again, the old show had real cringy green screens. So it's nice to see that they're keeping up with it. But yeah, I'm hooked so far. I want to know where the show goes, if it goes anywhere. There's a lot of questions being answered, but Dale Cooper is back, so that's something to look forward to. Alright, check back in next time for another Twin Peaks recap, and remember, the owls are not what they seem.